This is the new Osight SE. Let's get into it. So included in the box, obviously you have the sight. You also get the Torx wrench, which also has a flathead screwdriver for adjusting windage and elevation. Below that you have a couple extra screws for the battery compartment. And then inside here you have your set of mounting hardware, and this has every single type of screw that you would need to mount this to a wide variety of platforms. And you do also get the instruction manual as well as a cleaning cloth in this little pouch here. And when you do get the sight out of the box, you'll notice there's this yellow tab here. You want to go ahead and pull that out to activate the battery. That's just so it doesn't drain during shipping and you get a fresh battery. And while we got that open, we can take a look at the tray and battery itself. It does take a standard CR1620 battery, so super easy to come by. You can replace that when needed. And this tray is actually really nice anodized machined part. And another really cool thing about this is, again, we'll get all into the features and stuff a little bit later in the video, but this is on the side of the sight, the battery compartment. You do not need to remove the optic from your handgun or whatever platform you're running it on to change the battery. That also means you don't need to re-zero, you don't need to go through all that, Loctite, and none of that like you would on something like an RMR, which is a really nice feature. And changing the battery, super simple. Pop your battery in there, slide your tray back in there, and you can see there is a nice waterproof seal around the side, which helps maintain your waterproof rating there. Then you just have your screw, put that back in the little hole there, and you take the included tool, which again had that flathead spot on the side, and you can use that to tighten this down. And just simple as that. Alright, so moving forward and looking at all the external features of the light, starting up front you do have your lens. It's multi-coated, and that's going to cut down on some of the glare. Around the side you have your plus and minus buttons, as well as the Osight marking with the SE right there. Up top there's nothing. Around the other side you have some more branding, as well as the battery compartment. And then you do have the windage adjustment screw right there. Going around the back you can see you have your elevation adjustment screw, as well as these couple built-in rear iron sights. That's kind of nice. And then looking here you do have your rear glass, and again this is a fully enclosed emitter optic, which is really nice, especially at the price point on this. On the bottom, nothing really important. You do have the spots where it would mount up, the pin markings, as well as the two holes for the mounting screws. Alright, let's go over how to use everything on the sight. So again, you have your buttons right here on the side, your plus and minus. If you just hit one of them, it'll turn on, and you can see now that the dot is on. Let me focus it on the reticle here. There we go. Now it's focused on the reticle. Alright, and if I hit the plus and minus button, I can manually adjust the brightness. And you can see when I go all the way up, when it hits max, it'll blink, and that'll tell you that you're at the max or the minimum brightness. And manually turning it off is easy. You just press and hold these two buttons for a few seconds. Alright, so with the optic on, this does have a automatic like motion sensing mode. So if I double tap and hold the minus button, you'll see it blink here. Let me see if I can get that on camera. There we go. Now you can see that it blinked twice. That means motion sensing mode is on. Now if I put this on a gun and just leave it somewhere for 3 minutes, it'll automatically turn off. And then the second it senses motion, it'll turn right back on to the previous brightness setting that you had turned on. And then again, to disable that, I just have to double tap and hold the minus switch, and it'll blink one time. There it goes, and now that shows that motion sensing mode is off. This also has multiple different reticles. So all I gotta do is press and hold the minus button, not double tap it this time, just single press and hold, and it'll cycle through all 3 different reticles. There it is. Let me focus on the ground here to get that. Now it's a singular dot. Before it was a dot with kind of like the EOTech style. And if I press and hold it again, it goes now to the crosshair like the EOTech without the dot in the middle. Pressing and holding it again. Now the dot is back. So that gives you a wide variety of different reticles to choose from. So all 3 of those reticles, you're probably wondering what the runtime on this is, especially since it's non-rechargeable and it's got a kind of a small battery in there. But on max brightness, 100% brightness, With the dots as well as the crosshair around it, you're gonna get 46,600 hours of runtime. That is extremely good for a battery of that size. If you do switch it over to dot only, you're gonna get 75,000 hours of runtime. That's crazy. And if you only want the crosshair without the dot, that's 50,000 hours. It is also 1 meter drop test rated as well as IPX7 waterproof rated. Including the battery, it's less than 1 ounce. It's super lightweight. Length, it's 1.6 inches. Width, 0.98. Height, 0.97. So virtually identical height and width. And then just 1.59 inches in length. So it's really compact. Now, if we do a quick comparison between the SE as well as the S, there are a few differences here, but they are very, very similar. Of course, your S has the recharging pad up top. There is no removable battery tray on the side, and that's so that you can use it with the charging case. It protects it as well as charges it, and you can just plug a USB-C in there. Good to go. Whenever you're ready, pull the case off. It also does have a brightness indicator for automatically adjusting your reticle brightness. This one does not have that right there on the front. And the bottom does look a lot different with how it's built, but that's not really anything to compare the two. Size, shape, everything is virtually identical on the two. Price is not the same, however. The SE is significantly cheaper at $199 versus $249 on the S. So you're saving 50 bucks and you get most, if not all, the features that the other one has. The only one that I really do like is the automatic reticle brightness adjustment. Other than that, I mean, I don't see any real downside to the SE, and I kind of prefer the non-rechargeable battery. It just makes things a lot more simple. Alright, and here it is mounted up to a handgun. I got it on a Kel-Tec P11 with this little adapter plate. And this is actually a really fun rig, especially with the Osight as well as a suppressor and a light on here. This thing is so much fun. But anyway, you can see that it does take the RMSC footprint, and Osight does sell these adapter plates too, so if you do have an RMR footprint and you want to convert it over and use the Osight, just get one of these. It works perfectly fine. Like I said, this thing is a ton of fun, and since this sight is so lightweight, it's less than an ounce, the P11 still functions, especially with the suppressor on it. I know these guns have a lot of issues with other optics, especially if they're heavy or not functioning properly. I have had 1 or 2 hang-ups, but just use high velocity ammunition, you should be fine. And if you run it suppressed, you'll have absolutely no issues at all. It throws cases like 10 feet. And especially being a closed emitter optic, this is super nice, especially for the price too of less than $200. It's $199 right now, and you can also find these on sale too from time to time from Osight's website. This would be the perfect carry sight. Put this on like a Glock 43X MOS, like a 365. It's got a ton of awesome features, and you don't have to spend $300, $400, even $500 or $600 on something like an Aimpoint, Holosun, an RMR. So yeah, I'm really impressed with this sight. I do also love these, especially the original Osight for shotguns. They are so much fun to put on a shotgun. I have the original Osight on my Benelli M4 right now, and it's been a blast to shoot. And if you did want to put the SE or the S on something like a rifle, a shotgun, whatever, they do sell Picatinny adapter plates. Now you would have to buy this and put this plate on the optic and then mount that to the Picatinny adapter. But that way it gives you the opportunity to run this on basically anything that you would want to. But yeah guys, if you like the video, be sure to hit like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. I will be doing a video, hopefully in the near future, taking all these things out to the range, doing some testing through them, and just overall seeing how they perform. But I have had the S and the original Osight on the range a bunch of times, and they've always performed really well. So I expect nothing different from the SE. Again, I'm a big fan of this thing. The only feature I wish it had was the automatic adjusting brightness for the reticle. The S does have that, the SE does not. Other than that, and the recharging port at the top, the S has. I actually do prefer the non-recharging battery port right here. It's really nice to have just an interchangeable battery, and the thing lasts like 50,000 hours, so it lasts 5 years. So you really don't need to worry about having your battery die on you. Just keep a fresh battery, replace it every few years, you'll be fine. You can have the thing always running if you want to. But yeah, if you like the video, be sure to hit like, subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and thanks again for watching. See you later.